The Skoda Octavia is set to make a comeback in facelift avatar and with a new engine. We got a brief drive on its home soil in Prague to see what to expect. On the outside, the changes are subtle, with the main difference being the LED DRL that is lower into the grille. Dimensionally, there has been no change, so the length and wheelbase remain the same. The version seen here is the Sportline trim, which gets blacked out treatment for whatever would otherwise be chrome. It also gets 18-inch wheels, although the version we are likely to get will come with 17 inches for better comfort. In the Sportline, you get a triple spoke steering wheel. You get this blacked out interior, a bit of faux carbon fiber as well. There are some recycled materials used for the seats and on the dashboard. And it's overall a more sporty offering. Equipment wise, you get a big 13-inch screen that is really nice and crisp. It gets Skoda's new UI system as well. So very, very convenient. However, Skoda has also gone by the trend, and climate control switches are on the touchscreen, which means you need to take your eyes off the road, and it can get a bit confusing if you're driving on your own. Of course, there are voice commands as well, so if you're a bit more patient than I am, you can definitely use those. Rear seat space and comfort remains as before, and the humongous 600-litre boot is there as well. But the new bit is the engine. Alright, so the driving seat of the Skoda Octavia has always been a very nice place to be, primarily because of what was under the bonnet. A lovely 190 horsepower 2-litre TSI engine with a 7-speed DSG. Now, with this updated one, the 2-litre engine is not there anymore, at least abroad. The previous gen Octavia featured a 2-litre turbo petrol engine, the EA888, which was loved unanimously. However, it was proving to be difficult and expensive to get the engine to comply with the new BS 6.2 norms, and that resulted in the car being phased out. Now the Octavia is available internationally with a 1.5-litre engine, the EA211 Evo 2, making 150 horsepower, which is the same as the Slavia 1.5. Yes, in terms of power figures, it's the same as the Slavia, which will be a bit of a disappointment because it's a bit of a step back from the 190 2-litre engine to a smaller 1.5 that you also get in a car that is a segment below. That will be a tough pill to swallow. However, performance-wise, honestly, if they didn't tell you it's a 1.5, you won't really know, because it picks up pace really quickly and triple-digit speeds are absolutely effortless. So there's no sign of a smaller. Globally, the engine is available with a mild hybrid system that Skoda calls E-Tech, which is essentially a 48-volt battery that powers ancillaries and a start-stop function for better efficiency. Yes, the gearing is slightly on the taller side, which means you have to ring it a bit. It's not as responsive as the 2-litre maybe, but it's going to take back-to-back driving to notice the difference, because you press on the accelerator and there is instant response. That said, while the refinement is good, the engine gets rather loud in the second half of the rev range. Now, like the previous gen Octavia that we had, it also gets shift-by-wire for the gearbox, which means you don't get the Tiptronic functions. You still get a sport mode. But if you want a bit more control in your hands, you have the paddle shifters. Are they that responsive? Not really. There is a hint of delay. You tug along and there is that noticeable pause. So you won't really be completely engaged even in sport mode. But as far as the chassis is concerned and as far as handling is concerned, this thing is what an Octavia always was. Very, very confident, really sharp in the bends. Steering is nice and direct as well. So pretty much what they've done is taken the standard Octavia, and since this is only the facelift, only made some minor incremental changes, got it up to date with the latest touchscreen and so on, a bit more features, and retained that Octavia magic where you have a lovely balance of driving dynamics, practicality, comfort. So it definitely is still the Octavia that everyone loves. Alright, now ride quality on the Octavia, it's supposed to be nice and plush because in India it's a luxury offering. However, this Sportline version is 10 mm lower to the ground. It gets bigger 18-inch wheels as well. So yes, the ride is a bit on the firmer side. Now the roads in Europe are nowhere close to what we have back home, but even on those occasional rumbles and a bit of potholes here and there, you do feel it does get a bit jarring inside the cabin, but that primarily is due to the bigger wheels and the stiffer setup. As soon as you put it in the comfort setting, things are a lot better, and I'm guessing with the smaller 17-inch wheels that gets a higher tire profile, it'll get even more comfortable. Skoda would want to price the Octavia between 30 lakh rupees to 35 lakh rupees, which will help bridge the gap between the top spec Slavia, which is currently at 18.7 lakh rupees, and the Kodiaq SUV that's priced at 40 lakh rupees. In this SUV driven market and in a segment that no longer exists, It won't sell in the same numbers as it did in the past, but having an Octavia on the showroom floor will do a lot more for Skoda than not having it. It is, after all, a brand in its own right.